think the Jaguars will end up winning that division, though. Chargers and 49ers in the Super Bowl. Fun fact. What's up, everybody? It's another episode of the C.U.P.S podcast. It's your boy, Dyon. I'm back again. If y'all haven't done it already, go ahead and like, subscribe, share this page. I already got 2 videos up, 2 episodes. The first 2 episodes up. If you haven't seen them, go ahead and watch them. Go like it, share it to everybody you know. If you tell a friend, tell a friend. This is episode 3, and what I want to get into this week is I want to make my predictions for the week coming up, NFL week 6, and I want to talk a little bit about the Western Conference of the over and unders. I'm finally going to finish that one. But last night, the Denver Broncos played the Kansas City Chiefs, and I watched the entire game. The final score was 19-8. But what stuck out to me, so I'm a huge Russell Wilson fan. Like, I was a big fan of the Legion of Boom. I'm a big fan of Russell Wilson. Like, I seen Russell Wilson work from day one when he was at North Carolina State. I seen him, I was watching him, like I was a fan. And my biggest support to Russell Wilson was that he doesn't make mistakes. I don't know what has happened in the past, I'll say 2 years since he got to Denver. I don't know what's happened to him, you know. I'm not gonna get into his personal life, but I'm just strictly football. It's like the guy is playing scared out there. Like, he's playing like he forgot how to play football. Last night he finished with 95 passing yards, a touchdown and 2 interceptions. That's a huge problem because supposedly Denver has the some premier young receivers in Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton. I don't know what has happened to my guy, Russ. I thought but what's one guy from New Orleans? Sean Payton. I thought Sean Payton would come in and be that guy, Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer would have made Russell Wilson way worse. But he's playing like he's playing for Urban Meyer. But Sean Payton, I thought he would come in and make Russell Wilson look like the Russell Wilson that we came accustomed to seeing for the past 10 years. But it just makes you wonder, did Sean Payton really make the Saints team, or did Drew Brees do it? Dun, dun, dun. But you know, how they had that conversation about Bill Belichick or Tom Brady? I want to ask the same question with Sean Payton and Drew Brees, but that's another story. But Russell Wilson just doesn't look comfortable playing football anymore. I mean, I knew Denver was going to lose to Kansas City, but I don't know what's going on with Russ. So we're going to move on from that team. I think Denver is now 1-5. Kansas City is now 5-1. So we will get into the games they have this week playing. First game lined up is Baltimore and Tennessee. Baltimore had a tough loss last week. You know, all those drops and the way that the team was playing, and people blame Lamar for not being the closer he needs to be. I heard somebody say Odell was washed up. I forgot who said it. It was on ESPN. But all these things coming out about not Denver, but still on about Denver, but about Baltimore. And I want to see, I think this is going to be a good game, but Baltimore and Tennessee game, because it's 2 teams that really need a win. Tennessee is trying to stay in their hunt in their division. Baltimore is trying to stay at the top of their division with Pittsburgh and Cleveland. But I believe that Tennessee is going to lose to Baltimore in this game. It's in Tennessee. I believe Baltimore's going to win. If I had to predict the score, I'd probably say the score would be 21-17. 21-17, that's my final score. Depending on what Derrick Henry we get, maybe he's starting to look like he's slowing down. I'm a big fan of Derrick Henry though, but he hasn't had that, that burst this year so far. Maybe it's the offensive line. But I'm taking Baltimore over that game to beat Tennessee, and we're going to see what happened in that game. um, next we got Washington and Atlanta. Ooh. Washington is 3-2. No, Washington's 2-3. Washington's 2-3, and Atlanta is 3-2. I'm gonna actually take. I'm gonna take Atlanta in this one because Washington. Why? Even though Washington, it has been surprising to me this year. So has Atlanta. Atlanta is really young. They're playing reckless. They don't care who you are. They're gonna try their best to get that win. Atlanta is a young, hungry team. They finally implemented C.U.P.S into the offense really last week. Hopefully they continue that. But I believe that Atlanta is going to beat Washington. My final score on that game, it's going to be a close one. It's going to be a close one. It's going to be a low-scoring game. So I'm going to probably say that one will be 20-14 Atlanta. Next will be Seattle and Cincinnati. Seattle is hot right now. They're coming off a bye week. They had time to prepare for Cincinnati. I do have Cincinnati beating them because Joe Burrow had his first good game this season. He's looked like he's trying to get back. I think Joe Burrow is out though. Cause I saw something about Jamar Chase was talking about how they should have sat Joe to start the season if he wasn't healthy. But maybe I should have checked that. But I think Joe Burrow is out. But if Joe is playing, I got Cincinnati beating Seattle. Cincinnati they're trying to turn that curve so they can stay in the hunt in that division, which is a really competitive division right now. It's been competitive for about 3 years now. I got Cincinnati beating Seattle at the last second. This is going to be a last second win for them. I'm going to say 24-21 Cincinnati. Jacksonville is playing Indiana. Anthony Richardson is out. He has hurt his AC joint, so they say he's gonna be out about 4 to 8 weeks. Jacksonville is coming off 2 big wins in London. I actually got Jacksonville beating Indianapolis because, like I said, Anthony Richardson is out. Maybe Jonathan Taylor might show great signs this with him and Zach Moss, because Zach Moss had a great week last week. But I got Jacksonville beating them to actually jump them in the division. So we're going to see who comes out in there. I got Jacksonville, though. I don't think that was going to be close because Indianapolis' offense is not going to be the same without Anthony Richardson. So, even though Gardner Minshew is pretty reliable, he's a great backup. But I got Jacksonville winning that game. I would say 34 to 10, Jacksonville. Carolina is in Miami. I was actually supposed to be at this game. Happy birthday, boy. I was supposed to be at this game in Miami, and I actually got Miami blowing Carolina out. Even though but Bryce has been looking better every week, which I actually like, which I'm proud of. I believe against this Miami defense, he will continue to improve. So I do have Miami beating them. Their offense is just so unstoppable, man. Then they just got Chase Claypool. I don't know if he's dressing up this week, but I saw something say Tyreek Hill said he looks like a vending machine in person. Like, he's a big dude in person. But I got Miami winning that game by a lot. I think Miami will beat them. I'll say 34-3. I don't see Carolina getting on the board, even though Bryce will have a better game. But if Carolina comes out throwing that ball downfield, like, that's their only problem. They don't have playmakers on offense. So I don't believe in that offense. They're not building it for Bryce. Next game, we got Minnesota playing Chicago. Justin Jefferson is out. Kirk Cousins doesn't have Justin Jefferson. Chicago offense is pretty hot. You got DJ Moore actually playing now. They're putting him into things. But I I actually got Chicago beating Minnesota. I think Minnesota is in at that stage now where they want to start tanking. I believe they're going to stop tanking. They already talked about moving on for Kirk Cousins, and I believe Minnesota is going to be that team that's going to go for Caleb Williams. I think they will go the hardest if Caleb Williams comes out, but I think they'll start tanking. So I got Chicago beating Minnesota. Final score of that game would be, if depending on what Chicago offense will give. If we get the Chicago offense the past 2 weeks, I can see it being a blowout also. But Minnesota's offense isn't so bad either as far as passing goes because Kirk Cousins has been showing out. But I got Chicago beating Minnesota. I say the final score would be 31-17, Chicago. Next game, we got San Francisco and Cleveland. That's gonna be a great game. It's in Cleveland though. But I got San Francisco beating Cleveland because San Francisco, like I said, San Francisco looks like the most complete team right now. Matter of fact, I'm about to do something crazy. I got Cleveland beating San Francisco this week. This is about to be San Francisco's first loss. Cleveland's defense is legit. Myles Garrett is going to get out the Brock Purdy and Zadarius Smith. They're going to get out the Brock Purdy. They have a good front up front in Cleveland. I got Cleveland beating San Francisco. It's going to be a close one, though. It's going to be a low-scoring, close game. And I'll say the final score of that game will probably be 14-10, Cleveland. New Orleans is playing Houston. I don't know how that's gonna be I think that could be a shootout. Cause if CJ Stroud plays like he's been playing and New Orleans performs like they've been doing, I think that could really be a shootout. Like I can see that being, like high scoring. I think both teams can go over 30. I say 34-31, Houston. C.J. Stroud still hasn't had a turnover. Derek Carr is performing like I thought he would perform. But I got Houston beating New Orleans this week. Like I said, the final score would be 34-31. Next game I got New England and Vegas. That's gonna be a terrible game, gosh. I got New England showing up. I got New England beating Vegas. Mac Jones is getting done so dirty. He needs to get out of New England, or they need to change their offense around him. As far as the play personnel goes, they need to put playmakers on the field to give Mac Jones a chance. You benching him every week is not going to help him in the head. Mentally, is doing something to him. You bench him every week, like that's not going to do something. Then you promise to start him. Like, what's the point of benching him if you're going to start him the very next week? But I do have New England beating Vegas this week. Vegas offense is, when they're not using, I don't know what it is with Josh McDaniels, but they're not using Josh Jacobs at all. Like, he'll use him, he'll make a big play, then they'll go straight to pass. It's like y'all gotta have you gotta get it balanced, but it has to start and finish with Josh Jacobs. That is your guy. He's at the league in yards last season, led the NFL in yards, and they still haven't gave him that contract. But I got New England beating Vegas. I actually got Mac Jones having a big game actually. Next game we got Detroit and Tampa Bay. That's gonna be a good one also. There's a couple good games this week. I got Detroit and Tampa Bay. It's in Tampa Bay, but I got Detroit beating Tampa Bay. On that Vegas and New England game, I say the final score would be 21-14, New England. With the Detroit and Tampa Bay game, I got Detroit beating Tampa. That's two good teams playing against one another. Detroit is a younger team. Tampa Bay is much more seasoned. But I believe that Detroit is on a hunt this year. So I got them beating Tampa Bay, and the final score of that game would be 27-21, Detroit. Baker Mayfield has looked impressive. Jared Goff has also looked impressive. David Montgomery has looked impressive. They're not using Jahmyr Gibbs. Who was Dan Campbell said this week? He said that David Montgomery is a 20 to 25 carry running back. The other guy is not. He was talking about Jahmyr Gibbs. If Jahmyr Gibbs is not a 20 to 25 carry guy, why draft him 12th overall in the first round? I don't know, just me. Next, it is Arizona against the Rams. Arizona has been more competitive than I thought they would be this year, but the Rams have also been competitive. So in that divisional game, I got the Rams beating Arizona. Matt Stafford has found something with Puka Nacua, and he has his guy back, Cooper Kupp. I believe this will be the game that Aaron Donald's name will be heard the first time this season. I think Aaron Donald's going to have a big game this week against Arizona and their offensive line. So I got the Rams blowing out Arizona 31-10. 31-10. I got Arizona getting blown out by the Rams. Next game is Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Jets. Jets, Jets. I got Philly winning, but it's not gonna be an easy win. And if you can pick on if Zach Wilson, hear me out. If Zach Wilson can pick on that Philly defense, I could see him actually making noise against Philly. But I still take Philly beating the Jets. It's gonna be a close one. I would say 27-17, Philly. It's gonna be one of those games where it was like 20. It's gonna be like 20-17, and then Philly scores in like the last 5 minutes or so to pull away. I got Philly beating the Jets. We got the Giants against the Buffalo Bills. The Giants is just, without Saquon Barkley on the field, the Giants is just, they're just there, you know. Daniel Jones has not been impressive at all. Like, name me your memory of Daniel Jones on anything since he's been drafted. Since he's been drafted, name me your favorite Daniel Jones play. I think we all thinking the same play. Yeah, the 80-yard run where he tripped on his own feet. I got Buffalo beating the Giants, and that is going to be a blowout. I got Buffalo beating them 40-7. That's gonna be the biggest blowout of the week. I could see that's probably to be the most points somebody scored this week. Buffalo beating the Giants 40-7. Giants are the Giants, you know. And last but not least, the main event. The main event, ladies and gentlemen. You see it. Coming off a bye week. And the other team coming off a blowout. Justin Herbert in the Los Angeles Superchargers. I got us beating the Dallas Cowboys. It's not going to be close. Last year they beat us at the field goal at the last second. It was 17-14 last year. They're not beating us this year. You're not going to beat us 2 years in a row. It's crazy. We're playing 2 years in a row, but they're not going to. I don't have Dallas beating us. Chargers are going to go. And it's in LA too. And Dallas is horrible on the road. Their defense is horrible on the road. Dak is horrible on the road. I got Dallas losing to the Chargers Monday night, and that final score will be 31-14 Chargers. Chuck, play with me. Don't play with me. Play the lottery. But I got us beating the Dallas Cowboys. Last week I know everybody expecting Dallas to just bounce back, but not against us. Like, you thought San Francisco offense was good. Look at our offense. But our coaching is our problem. Like, our head coach is a crazy guy. But Justin Herbert versus that Dallas defense, after what Brock Purdy just did to them, come on. I got us beating Dallas. Is no question. That's a great win for us. And yeah, that's the week of my picks for this week. So now, without further ado, we're gonna move on to the basketball season. So, all right, so this is the second half of this video, and I want to get to the NBA over and unders before the season starts. I already did the Eastern Conference. I want to do the Western Conference now. In the West, the one argument I don't like in the league they've been having the past few years, because I think that it has been changed over, that the West is more competitive than the East. It's not. If you think, oh, the West is better than the East, it's not. You think about it. Think about all the stars in the league, and think about how many champions that came out the East in the past decade. As far as different teams, in the past 10 years, there has only been, it was 2023, so back to 2013, there's only been three teams that have won a championship in the West. And that's the Warriors, the Spurs, and the Nuggets. I'm trying to think. Was there any more teams? Yeah, the Warriors, Nuggets, and Spurs. Yeah. Oh, the Lakers, the bubble. I mean, yeah. But in the East, you know, you got Cleveland, who's won a championship. Milwaukee, who's won a championship. You got, well, that could be kind of fair, but I still think that the better teams are in the East. The East is more competitive. You know, you got the best players in the East. You know, Giannis, you got Joel, you got Dame now. You know, you had KD in the past few years, you had Kyrie, you got Trae Young now, you got so many great players in the Eastern Conference. I think it's more in the East than it is the West. And there are better teams in the East, you know. Yes, the West might have been more like watched because of the Lakers, but it's not Lakers and Warriors, like whoop-de-doo, you know. But that's another conversation. We got I want to get to these over and unders. So without further ado, I want to start with the Houston Rockets, who is my favorite team to watch this year. That's going to be my number one team that I watched this year. This year, Houston they have been rated by Vegas. Their odds is they have them go over or under, well, their over and under is 31.5 games. I believe they'll go well over 31 games, 31.5 wins. I believe Houston might win 45 wins. I think Houston is going to be a playoff team. They're really young. The Ime Udoka hire was fantastic for that team. He's going to bring so much grit and toughness to that team, that young team, that's what they need. And the signings of Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet was also great for that. They're going to add to that. I heard people talking about Fred VanVleet wasn't a good pickup for that team because it's going to stunt their growth. Well, at the time, you had my Porter Jr. on the squad. It's safe to say that he's not on that team anymore. But the fact of Fred VanVleet being there, proven champion, Dylan Brooks being there, Ime Udoka, last time he coached, he made it to the finals. I'm not saying this team is that Boston team, but they have a lot of pieces. You know, I like the way they've done things. Like, If we can talk about a turnaround for a team since they lost their star, losing James Harden for Houston was probably the best thing to happen to Houston. You know, they suck. Yeah, they sucked for what, 2, 3 years, 3 years. But look at the pickups and the talent they have on their roster now. You got Jalen Green, you drafted. You got Jabari Parker Smith. I mean, Jabari Smith Jr. Jabari Smith Jr. I'm thinking about Jabari Parker. But there's Jabari Smith Jr., who's a bucket, and I believe he's going to be one of the great scorers in our league. You got Fred VanVleet now. You got Dylan Brooks. You got Alperen Sengun, who is going to be a dog. I believe he's going to turn out to be their best player. Alperen Sengun. They actually calling him Baby Joker, but like I see a lot of resemblances in the way he plays, and you know how the guys from overseas that play, you know, their style of play is team first, team first, team first, and his mobility, his ability to read the game, his ability to react as a big, and the skill set that he has, he's going to be a future All-Star. They drafted Cam Whitmore, they drafted Amen Thompson, and I believe all of those guys together is going to be a movie. Jalen Green and Jabari Smith will probably be their two best scorers, but their best players is going to turn out to be Amen Thompson and Alperen Sengun in time. I'm not going to say that's going to happen this year, but as time goes along, those will be their two top players. Would be AP and Amen. AP and Amen. Amen for the AP. Okay, that's a good little mix. AP for the Amen. Okay, Amen for the AP. But I see them two guys being their best players if everything works out for this team. And I definitely got Houston going over 31.5 wins. I can see them getting well over 40 games actually. And the Western Conference, which is now weaker, you know, Portland's out of the picture with Dame leaving. You know, you got Denver coming back, the Warriors coming back, you got the Suns. You think about, you know, you got the Lakers, you got Minnesota, you got OKC making a jump. But we can talk about the rest of the teams, but I definitely got Houston making a big jump. I believe they'll be hovering around that 6 to 10 range. I think they'll definitely be in the play-in. Like the top half of the play-in. Like I could see them winning, getting the 7th seed, and that would not be a surprise to me. So remember I said it here first. Next team would be Minnesota. See, the thing about Minnesota, yes, I don't like the way their team is built from the bigs position. I believe, hear me out, they should trade Karl-Anthony Towns and get back value for him because he is extremely valuable. But Rudy Gobert can be a big-time player for that team. He could be their anchor. You need a guy like Rudy Gobert on your team. Yeah, okay, he's not going to give you 20 points a night. Cool. He is the guy that Ant needs. Like, think about what Rudy Gobert did with Donovan Mitchell in Utah. He was a great pick setter. He's a great weak side defender. He is a great paint protector. He can catch the lob. He gets the offensive rebounds. He's a rebounding machine. He does the dirty work. So I could see Rudy Gobert matched with Ant-Man without Cat being a plus, because think about what you can get for Karl-Anthony Towns right now. Like, I could name one team that Karl-Anthony Towns. You could trade mixing pieces right now. Trade Karl-Anthony Towns to Chicago for DeMar DeRozan and maybe Zach LaVine or Kobe White. You know, that's instantly a better team with Rudy Gobert and Anthony Edwards, and you got Jaden McDaniels coming back. You know, so I can definitely see Minnesota going over 44 wins, but it just depends on, you know, how Cat and Rudy plays together. It doesn't work, you know. Yes, Cat can spread the floor, but I believe for the success of Ant-Man, it has to be with Rudy and not Cat. Cat's skill set does not mesh well with Ant-Man's skill set. So, but I got them going over 44.5 wins. The next team we're gonna have the Golden State Warriors. They got to Golden State at 48.5 wins. I'm gonna say they're gonna go. I'm gonna say they're gonna go right at 48 wins. So that's under 48.5. So I got Golden State right at 48. Their offense, I'm not worried about. The lineup, I would love for them to have. I'm a Chris Paul fan. I love Chris Paul. That's my favorite point guard in the league. That's my favorite point guard ever. It's Chris Paul, Derrick Rose, Kyrie Irving. But Chris Paul, I believe, should come off the bench for that Warriors team. Because if you put Chris Paul into the starting lineup, if I'm thinking this is what their starting lineup looks like with Chris Paul as a starter. Chris Paul starting at the 1, Steph Curry at the 2, Klay at the 3. Are they benching Wiggins or are they benching Draymond? Because it's a big problem if you benching Wiggins and starting Draymond. Chris Paul and Draymond can't start at the same time because they do the same thing. Chris Paul is just a better shooter. So, but what I mean by that is they're not looking to score. Like neither one of them is looking to score the ball. And the Warriors team needs that when Steph and Klay is not hitting. Steph is okay. Steph and Klay is probably two of the greatest people I've seen move without the ball. Also, with Reggie Miller and Ray Allen, but Chris Paul and Draymond does not need to start together, because the offense would be stagnant. With the way that they motion, the way they move, and the way they're running off curve and pin downs and coming off these screens. I don't see Draymond and Chris starting together being a plus for that starting lineup. And if they don't, and if they start both Wiggins and then you start, what you gonna do? You just put Draymond at the 5? Now you're getting 8 up on the inside. Pause. Like you're gonna get 8 up on the inside. So I don't see the Chris Paul to the starting lineup being a successful thing for that team. I think Chris Paul coming off the bench with those young guys would be a greater impact for the team, because last season when Steph Curry and Klay went to the bench, their defense was horrible. But when Dre went to the bench also, like their defense, the bench defense was horrible. And I believe that they need to get that Sean Livingston, Andre Iguodala, Festus Ezeli, Leandro Barbosa kind of chemistry off the bench back. Chris Paul can put that into that bench. That's what the Warriors need right now, and having Draymond and CP on the floor at the same time is, because I don't see CP moving without the ball well. Especially at 37, 38 years old. I don't see him moving without the ball well. He's smart enough to do it. Him and Draymond are probably two of the top 5 smartest players in the league. But as far as gameplay, which one is going to be without the ball, Draymond or Chris? They're both looking to pass first. They're not looking to attack. So that's going to make the defense easier to play on that team. But I see Warriors getting under that 48.5. Next team, I got Memphis. So Memphis is actually my pick to win the West. Here's why. Memphis has been the 2nd seed 2 seasons in a row. They were extremely young. They had the problems with Ja. Cool. Even with the time that Ja has already missed before, they were winning without him on the floor. That is a well-oiled machine. That team from top to bottom is a good team. And then with the additions of Derrick Rose and they added Marcus Smart, that's going to be interesting to see. With those are the perfect vets for for that team. They're hard-nosed players. I could definitely see Memphis winning the West, especially when Ja comes back. Ja's going to come back hungry And ESPN, y'all so disrespectful for putting Ja 33rd in the league. Come on, really? Y'all really got Jalen Brunson over him. I love Jalen, but come on, Jalen over Ja. It's politics all over the place. But I got Memphis winning the West, but they got Memphis at 45.5 wins. I got them over that. I think they'll win well over 50, even with Ja missing a lot of games. Jaren Jackson Jr. just lost with the FIBA World Cup. I'm hoping he has a chip on his shoulder. Marcus Smart just got traded from the team he didn't want to leave, the team that he loved, culture he loved. I'm sure he has a chip on his shoulder. Derrick Rose finally got away from Tom Thibodeau, where he was riding the bench for a whole year, and he can clearly perform. Derrick Rose has a lot in the tank still. Steven Adams is coming back. I think he missed all of the second half of the season last season. He's coming back. And you get, Desmond Bain just got his money. You got Brandon Clark coming back from injury. That is a good team. I got Memphis winning the West. And they just made little subtle changes, and it was perfect for their team. I got Memphis winning the West. You heard it here first. Next team, we got the Los Angeles Lakers. The world-loved Lakers. The Minneapolis Lakers. So, there's been a lot of hoopla about that team. That Laker team made some changes. They did. My thing with the Lakers is it just all depends on Anthony Davis. But they got the Lakers at 47.5 wins. I think they will go under that. I think they'll be around that 44 to 45 win range. Because I believe that they're going to sit some games, You just, like if we're being realistic, it's LeBron James and Anthony Davis, they missed time now, which is expected. So I don't expect them to play in a lot of games this season. I expect both LeBron and AD to be between that 50 to 64 game range to play. I definitely got, and I was bragging on AD all playoffs. Like, yo, AD is hungry. I haven't seen this AD since New Orleans, and this AD is top 5 guy in the league. When AD is performing like that in the playoffs, or when he does in the regular season, if he does that in the regular season, the Lakers are one of the best teams in the league. But if AD is just out there, they not a good team at all. And then LeBron is right. Like, he's trying to give, it is AD's team. I was telling people a few years ago, right after they won in the bubble, I said that I was telling LeBron fans, LeBron is not even the best player on your team. AD is. Like, I was saying that back then, and I still believe it. When AD is healthy and playing, he's a top 5 player in the NBA. Like, he can't be guarded. He can shoot. He can dribble. He can play one of the best defense. I believe he's going to be Defensive Player of the Year this year. AD is one of those guys, and I definitely see the Lakers going under 47.5 wins, but just because of the games that's going to be missed. Yes, I like Austin Powers, your boy, Austin Reeves. I like him. Austin Powers. I said, oh, that was a joke. But Austin Reeves, I like him. He has to be their third guy. D'Angelo Russell is going to be that in-between guy to where they when they need him, he's gonna give them what he can, and they're gonna need that from him. But I definitely got the Lakers going under 47.5 wins. But the biggest pickup for me for the Lakers was just 2 things. They re-signed Rui Hachimura, and I like him. He is a great, complete player. And they signed Cam Reddish. I believe this is Cam Reddish's last chance to prove himself, because if you can't make it work with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, you just probably won't make it work. And when he came out, I was actually saying he was going to be the best player from that Duke Big Three with Zion and RJ. Right now, it's turning out that RJ is the best from that Big Three, but I definitely am a Cam Reddish fan. I do believe he will figure it out with the Lakers. If Darvin Ham plays him, of course. But with his ability to score and his ability to put the ball in the cup, like I'm a fan of Cam Reddish, but I got the Lakers going under 47.5 wins. Next, we got Phoenix. The Phoenix Suns. Phoenix is rated at 52.5 wins. I got Phoenix going over that. Phoenix is going to be closer to that 60 win range. That Bradley Beal addition with KD and Book. Now it's not all upon KD and Book, you know, putting up 40 a game to get a win against a Denver team. They're not gonna have to do that. They have Bradley Beal, who can also put the ball in the cup, and Devin Booker can be more of a facilitator now because Devin Booker is actually a great facilitator. Devin Booker has really gotten better every year. Like I like Devin Booker's game. He doesn't force it, you know. That's what I like about him, and it just works for him. But I got Phoenix going over 52.5. I got them closer to 60 wins. I think the best two records in the league would be, not the best teams, but the best records would be the Suns in the West and the Bucks in the East. I think the Bucks is going to go for that Warriors record, 73-9. I think the Bucks can go for that. But with the Suns, they made some small subtle changes also. You know, signing Bol, bringing over Eric Gordon, getting the big Yusef Nurkic that they needed, and got DA out of there. DA needs his own team, and he needs to learn how to continue to develop because, like it or not, DeAndre Ayton is still developing as a young player. Like, he didn't deserve to be on that team. Like, that was a win now team. He needed to be somewhere where he can develop so he can be the best version of himself. And that's not a knock to him or the team. It's just, it was a reason why they had the number one pick. But they also added Grayson Allen, which is he's a good defender, and that was crazy. I was about to say he's probably their best shooter, but he is a good shooter. I don't know how they're going to implement him to the game. I'm thinking he's probably going to be their sixth man, but Grayson Allen was a good pickup for them. And they got Nasir Little from Portland. It was another good defender. You know, the young player, the young energy, got him come in and give him what he got. Phoenix definitely filled out the rest of their roster after that Bradley Beal trade. They got exactly what they needed. Now they just need to hope that guys' health is all right and play throughout the season. But I definitely got Phoenix going over 52.5. Next team, I got the Los Angeles Clippers. My favorite Los Angeles team. They got the Clippers at 46.5 wins. I think they will go over that for the simple fact that Paul George and Kawhi Leonard only played 38 games together last season. Imagine we can get them to play 55 games together or 60 games together. They had a 5th seed last season. They only played 38 games together. Now they get a full season with Russell Westbrook. You know, they're trying to get James Harden. I hope they don't because they don't need James Harden. You got Ivica Zubac. He's a good center, good young center. You got Terrence Mann still. You just traded for Kenyon Martin Jr. He's a good young player. He's a great defender. He's going to eventually develop into a 3D guy where he can shoot the ball and he continue to improve his jump shot. He continue to be a 3D guy and be important for that Clipper team. And he's probably going to have to that Clipper team got some defenders, you know. But KJ is going to be one of them guys that you could trust guarding the best player on the floor when PG and Kawhi doesn't have to. So they can save themselves on defense. But KJ is going to be an important part of that Clipper team. But I believe they're going to go over that 46.5 just for the simple fact that they won that last year and half the season Kawhi and PG was out. So I definitely got them going over 46.5. I think their biggest thing for the Clippers, I think everybody knows the biggest thing for the Clippers is just health, you know. Jerry West said it best. I just want to see you guys together just for one season, just one time. I want to see you guys healthy one time. Just one time. That's all it takes. So if they're healthy for this whole season, I can see the Clippers being a top 3 team as far as record goes in the West. So they're definitely going over 46.5 wins. Next team we got the Utah Jazz. Utah Jazz had some important young guys last season. Markkanen was an all-star. Lauri Markkanen, he was an all-star. Came from Cleveland. Taylor Horton-Tucker put up some big numbers towards the end of the season. I think he found his home in Utah. Taylor Horton-Tucker. They drafted Keontae George. They traded for John Collins. You got your center, Walker Kessler, returning. He was on the Team USA team. So they got them at 35.5 wins. I'm going to say they're going to go over 35.5 because Utah, I can see them getting close to that play-in. They could be a play-in team. It's a lot of young talent. You had an all-star last season. I want to see if you can continue to build on that. I believe they'll get over 35.5 wins within Utah. Next, we got the defending champs, the Denver Nuggets. They got the Denver Nuggets at 52.5 wins. I think they're going to go under that. I believe Denver will regress. They didn't make any big changes. And everybody knows that, well, maybe everybody don't know because every team don't do it. But when you win a championship, you got to make significant change after you win a championship to add to your team so you can be in it again. Denver didn't make significant change. The significant change that happened to them was the losses. They lost Bruce Brown, who was probably one of the most important factors on that team. Maybe they just believe in Chris Braun that much, or Peyton Watson to be able to perform for them. But Bruce Brown was a big loss for them. I don't see Denver winning over 52.5 games this year. I can see them are hovering around that 48 win range. 48 wins would be that number for them. They will not repeat. And everybody stopped with Jamal Murray as the best point guard in the league. Like, he's not even, I don't even think he's a point guard. He's just a guard that just has to play that because they don't have a point guard. But maybe won them the championship though, so you can't hate on it. But I definitely got Denver going under the 52.5 wins. Just for the simple fact they didn't make any significant change to their team. Next, we got Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City Thunder. Oklahoma City is a good young team. They got them at 44.5 wins. They made the play-in last season. They lost. I got Oklahoma City going over. I'm going to say they win 45 wins. So at 44.5, I got them going over. Just that half a game over. I believe they'll win 45. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a good young player, great young player. The ceiling is the roof for him. They get Chet Holmgren back. Josh Giddey gets another year under his belt. Lou Dort is Lou Dort is really underrated because the biggest knock on him a few years back was that he can't shoot, and he has turned out to be one of the best shooters in the league. You know, when he was guarding. From the time when he was guarding James Harden in the playoffs, when he was the James Harden stopper. He's turned to one of the great young shooters in the league. And I don't know if anybody's paid attention to that. Like, he's really underrated. Lou Dort is really underrated. I like Lou Dort. He's a big part of that team. You know, they got the rookie Jalen Williams coming back his second season. Oklahoma is I think they're going to go over that 44.5, but they go win around 45. I could see them getting in the 6 range. I think they'll be the 6th seed. The next team, we got Portland. Portland has made a lot of changes, moves they made. You know, you got rid of Dane finally. You got DeAndre Ayton. You drafted Scoot Henderson. You got Shaden Sharp in another season. You got Anthony Simons. I thought they would move on for Anthony Simons. That was tricky. I thought they was gonna move on from him because he can be a starter for any other, like plenty other teams in the league. But are they gonna move on from Anthony Simons? I think they will. But he's a good. They got him a good young player, and they got Malcolm Brogdon. They kept him. I believe Malcolm Brogdon is going to be an X factor for that team. I think he's their vet now. Him and Jeremy Grant are their two vets. They got them at 30 wins. I actually got Portland going over 30 wins this year. If you actually look at their roster, they still have a playoff caliber roster. Like, I think they'll win the same range that they did last year with Dame. They won 36 games last year. I think they'll go about 37, 38 this year. But so I'm going to go over the 30.5 wins for them. Portland, with Chauncey Billups teaching them what they need to know, he's going to bring out that grit in those guys. I believe Portland will go over the 30.5 wins. I'm not saying they're going to make play or anything, but I think they're going to be better than what people expect. The team that they got now is the team that Dame was asking for them to bring. That's crazy. But, yeah, I got Portland over the 30.5 wins. Next team we got San Antonio. San Antonio's tricky because Victor Wembanyama, they just signed Devin Vassell to that extension. You got Keldon Johnson still. You got Trey Jones. You got Devontae Graham. But the question here is, can Victor Wembanyama be that guy that he makes so much of an impact that they go from the number 1 pick to the playoffs in 1 year? If you ask me that, I think he is. And the reason why is because his skill set and his size, like, it's literally nothing we've ever seen. And they were actually calling him the best, like they do all number 1 picks. Oh, he's the top number 1 pick since LeBron James. Dude, 21 years and scoring champion and 4 rings and 11 finals and, okay, the best number 1 pick since that guy, okay. That's a terrible standard to put on these number 1 picks, but I get it. You got to sell tickets, right? But Victor Wembanyama, I believe he will get San Antonio into the play-in discussion. Not quite in the play-in. I believe they'll be between that 11 to 13 range. The Spurs will. Coach Pop is going to have him in the right position. So they have the Spurs at 28.5 wins. I believe they will win over that. I think they'll go over 28.5. I think the Spurs will get 34 wins this year, which is right outside the play-in. And I think Victor is going to be that good. Victor is definitely going to be an all-star as a rookie. He's going to be an all-star starter with the voting thing. With the way the voting is set up, he has an entire country in France voting for him. Like, there's no question he's going to be an all-star starter. Sorry, Joker, but Victor is going to be that starter in the West. But I could see him improving San Antonio, but not so quiet of being in the playoffs. A good year for Victor would be, I would say him getting 21 points a game, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks as a rookie. And even though they get the voting in with that, voting into the All-Star, those are actually All-Star numbers, All-Star caliber numbers, especially for a rookie. So I got the Spurs going over 28.5 wins. Next, we got Sacramento. Sacramento, I don't know if y'all know, Sacramento actually had the highest rating offense in NBA history last season. Like, their offense was the best offense rated in NBA history. I saw something today. De'Aaron Fox said that the guy, Sasha, the foreign guy they just got, he said he shot 150 threes. They have a drill. He shot 150 threes and only missed 7. They say he's one of the best shooters in the league already. So I'm ready to see how that works out with that offense. And then you got Keegan Murray coming back for a second season. I'm a big Keegan Murray fan. You got what's my guy? You got Malik Monk coming back. You got De'Aaron Fox coming back, swiper. You got Domantas Sabonis playing another season under the system, which he is perfect for. He's perfect for the system. Mike Brown found him something with Domantas Sabonis. So I definitely got the Kings going over their 44.5 wins. I believe the Kings will be closer to that 50. I got them being that offense again. Will probably be the top offense in this season. They're going to pick up on that. And I got them going over that 44.5 wins. Next, we got New Orleans. New Orleans is rated at 44.5 wins. I got them going under that. Just because one of my favorite young guys in Zion. I don't expect Zion to play over 40 games this year. With Zion on the floor and Zion off the floor, they look like a totally different team both ways. I don't know if y'all remember, New Orleans was number 1 in the West when Zion got hurt last season, December 1st. If you don't believe me, go look it up. December 1st, they were number 1 in the West, and they lost 12 straight when Zion got hurt. C.J. McCollum, he's a shell of himself. Like, C.J. McCollum has been playing like, I don't know. He's been a shell of himself. Maybe it's because he's deferring to Brandon Ingram a lot. And I actually said this during the FIBA World Play. This is why Brandon Ingram was benched essentially. Brandon Ingram has no game outside of scoring. He's not a great defender. He's not a great rebounder. He's not a great playmaker. He doesn't set guys up. He's strictly buckets. And I don't know if that's a good trait to have when you're trying to win a championship. But that's why. So I got New Orleans going under that 44.5 wins, and that's why. You can't trust Zion to play more than 40 games. C.J. McCollum is a shell of himself. He played great one game. The next game, he's deferring to Brandon Ingram, and Brandon Ingram is just a scorer. Yeah, this is what it is, What Steve Smith called Jerry Judy, a jag, or just a guy. Brandon Ingram, you're a jazz, just a scorer. Yeah, so I got New Orleans going under the 44.5 win column. I don't think New Orleans even make playoffs this year, honestly. And last but not least, in the West, we got the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks is slotted at 44.5 wins. I believe they'll go under that because I believe they'll go strictly right at 44 wins. The reason why I say that is because outside of Kyrie and Luka, and maybe Tim Hardaway Jr. and maybe Seth Curry, Dallas has no talent on that team. I like Jaden Hardy. I like Derek Lively, but they're young guys. They can't make significant change for their team right now. And in order for Dallas to even make the playoffs, would be a 44-win team, which I'm choosing under the 44.5. Kyrie and Luka are going to both average 30 a game for them to get a win. That's what's going to have to happen. And Luka this year has to be MVP caliber, like literally MVP. Like he has to win MVP. I think Luka will win MVP, but he's going to have to play like that night in and night out for them to even get a win. That's how tough the wins are going to come from this year. So far in the preseason, I know it's preseason, but I've been watching Derek Lively. It's like Jason Kidd needs to set other guys up in his position. Derek Lively needs to get involved in the offense in any way possible, especially with Luka and Kyrie. So, like even at Duke, I didn't see Derek Lively's offensive game. He was a rebounder and a defender. Like he wasn't, they wasn't asking him to score. I believe this Dallas team has to ask him to score because they need some other players to put the ball in the hoop. So I think Dallas will go right under 44 wins, and that's why, because 44.5, but I think they'll go at 44. They'll win 44 games. But yeah, Kyrie and Luka is going to have to be damn near perfect for them to win a game. And we're asking a lot for Kyrie to do that. You know, I know he has his history of whatever, missing games and things, but Denver is going to, that's why I'm picking Denver to be under that 44.5. So without further ado, this is the end of the show. I'm going to need y'all to like. I'm going to need y'all to comment. I'm going to need y'all to fuck with me. I'm going to fuck with y'all. I'm going to need y'all to share. I'm going to need y'all to subscribe to the channel. It's an ever-growing channel. We got some fun on this. Everybody that's new to this, welcome. You know, this is the C.U.P.S podcast, Charged Up podcast. It's our sports side. So, thank you. Y'all have a good night.